What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And I hope you like this video. This is my review for Marrying Millions, Season 2, Episode 3. Are we on 3 or 4? Maybe we're on... No, we're still on 3. We got to knock it out because Season 3 starts, I think, in a couple of weeks. So we got to knock out Season 2 and get everybody caught up to where we are, honey. But on this episode, we start off with Erica and Rick. Now, remember, Erica and Rick, that is the couple that has the 49-year age difference between the two of them. Rick is meeting her parents. Listen, Rick is meeting daddy and grandma, and neither one of them are here for it. Neither one of them are here for it. And I get it. Rick is nervous. Rick is like, listen, I ain't had to go meet nobody's parents since I was 20 years old, okay? And that was so long ago, I don't even remember happening, okay? And he was a little nervous. He was a little braggadocious. He was making some crash jokes. But I think at the end of the day, he's not used to being in that situation. Like, he's not no young guy looking for nobody's acceptance and all of that. I mean, he did say, hey, you know, I want your blessing, you know. He did mention marrying, you know, that he was interested in marrying her. And, you know, Erica was like, okay, so I really didn't need him to bring up marriage. Like, that's a conversation that I kind of hadn't had with my parents yet. Well, with my dad yet. And I really kind of wasn't ready for that to come up. But at the same time, you know, dad was like, so what happens, like, when this relationship is over, what happens with my daughter? Like, and he was like, well, your daughter gonna have a lot of money. And I thought that was interesting that was his answer, because what that said to me was that he's interested in being with your daughter for a long term, or at least he gonna make sure he take care of your daughter if the relationship ends. Now, I know what people say now versus what ends up happening on the back end ain't always the same thing. I get it, but at least that's the intention. Like, he ain't say, well, you know, she grown, we're grown folks indulging in a grown conversation. Like, he didn't say none of that. He was like, she gonna be good. Later on in the episode, we see her going out with her best friend. They're at a bar, and of course they're getting looks because they're being all cuddly and cozy at the bar. And they were like, listen, in Miami, don't nobody give us a second thought. Like, we're not used to it. We go out, people don't pay no attention now. You know, I guess people are looking at us like, is she kissing her granddaddy? But that's probably, like, I probably wouldn't be that vested in somebody else's situation in a restaurant I'm in. But if I happen to, like, be scared of the restaurant and catch it, I might be like, the hell? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't help it. Like, y'all, listen, grandma said, you're closer to my age. He was like, yeah, you right. Listen, what grandma gonna ask him? Do you have your own hip? You got your own knees? Like, you ain't, like, what? But the best friend was like, listen, for as long as I've known her, she's always dated older guys. Like, she's always dated older guys. You know, that's just what she does. You know, that's just who she is. And, of course, this is the biggest age difference. But I think what she's trying to get through to us is, oh, it's not about the money. I've always liked older men. You know, she said people try to say that she has a daddy thing. I don't have a daddy thing. I just like older men. Okay. So, then we have Noni and Reese. I think I called her Novi before, but it's Noni and Reese. Listen, this whole relationship don't make no sense to me. Now, far be it for me to tell people what they should and shouldn't be doing in a relationship. But once again, this woman is older. She's more established. She's been through some things. Yes, she's a millionaire, whatever. And it's not just because this guy is younger. It is that I don't see anything that they have in common. This guy, Reese, who seems like a really nice guy, but Reese is really very much, like I told you, he's like straight out of like grunge, Nirvana, like, you know, they in Seattle. Like, he's very, like, I could see him in Smells Like Teen Spirit video. That's a reference that you have to be in my age group or older to get it, okay? But he really looked like he could have been in that video. Like, he's got the long hair, he's got the scruffy beard, he lives in a house, a skating house. That's what they call themselves, a skating house. It's basically a flop house with a bunch of skaters, and I guess they just figure out the best way to pay their rent. Like, it's I mean, and she's, you know, she wanted him to meet her friends, and so he's sitting there telling her friends about how he used to live in his car, how he was homeless at one time, and, you know, it is what it is, and he just does the best he can, but he's cool with it. Like, he was cool with living in his car, wasn't no big deal to him. And he's one of those people, that you can look at and he just looks like he stinks. I don't know that man personally. He might have just dropped out the shower. But the way he looked like he stinks. And so, of course, her friends were just like, girl, like, it's bad enough that he's 20 and you, like, 50. But what do y'all really have in common? Like, what do y'all really, truly have in common? Like, this makes no sense here at all. What do y'all really have in common? Later on in the episode, he goes to his family's house, and his family feel the same way. His family is like, listen, we don't understand. Like, we just think that you're her little boy toy, and when she get done playing with you, or you're not fun and shiny anymore, she's just gonna drop you. And he was like, listen, at the end of the day, don't nobody have to like or understand our relationship. It's between the two of us, and I really don't care like how they feel. Like, they my family and I love them, but if they're not gonna accept my relationship, then what's gonna end up happening is I ain't gonna be here much, period. Like, that's just what it's going to end up being. I don't think he wants her money. Like, some of these relationships, I don't be trying to judge people, y'all. I just keep it to myself. Some of these relationships, I think there is a little, for lack of a better word, little gold digging going on. But in their relationship, I really don't. I really think he likes her. I don't think he's interested in turning this into no long love affair. Like, I don't think he's interested in marriage and all of that. But I think he's cool with the way things are right now. And I don't think he's worried about impressing none of them. And I don't really think he wants any of her money. I think he takes her money if she offers. I don't think he says no. But I don't think that is his intention in being with her. And I could be wrong, but that's just what I get from him. And his mother was like, well, I don't believe that you don't want children and she can't give you kids. And I just don't believe that that's what you want. And he was like, okay. Like, you ain't got to believe it. You just got to respect it. So that's them, child. That's them, child. So then we have Danny and Don. Now listen, this is a new couple. They weren't on the first 2 episodes. So Danny and Don have known each other since high school, middle school maybe even, but they've known each other since high school. They didn't run in the same circles in high school. He said he was more the athlete, popular crowd. She was nerdy, had in her books. She went off to college. He stayed here, built his empire. He's in high-end real estate. He's worth between $10 to $15 million. But she now works for his company. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Giving this relationship a little bit of the side eye. Okay? Danny went off to college, but it really seems like she is nothing more than his glorified secretary. She works for him. And she's bragging about all the things that she's gotten since she started dating him. She drives a Mercedes that she can't park. Lord have mercy. That Mercedes, anyway, that was another conversation. And he even spoke about how since he's been dating her, he's maxed out credit cards, dealing with her. Now, if you're worth $10 to $15 million and you maxing out credit cards, you need to reevaluate some things. Like, she is spending a lot of freaking money. Maxed out credit cards, and he said she's spoiled, and she was bragging about how much her watch cost, and she was bragging about the private jets and this, and I'm like, okay, listen, I know y'all have known each other a long time, but I do have to kind of give you the side eye a little bit about what's really going on here, just a little bit. And of course she's pressuring him to get married. Later on in the episode, we see him talking to his mom about it. And his mom is like, I mean, are you ready for that? Like, I get the impression that mama ain't crazy about Danny. Now, that doesn't mean she don't like her. Because, again, but I think that she might feel some kind of way about Danny. And maybe the way Danny spends money. And he even said that. He was like, well, we're going to have to get this spending under control. Like, I don't know. And they've been dating for a year, so I can understand where she's coming from, but at the same time, I don't know. It sounds like there's a lot with that. It just sounds like there's a lot with it, y'all. Kevin. Oh Lord, I forgot the girl's name. Kevin and this the guy that's worth $30 to $40 million, but don't want to pay for dinner for his girlfriend. So she comes over. She buys. Now, first of all, she's talking about how she don't have no money. She's talking to her friend about how her money funny, and she is gonna ask Kevin for some money because she running a little short on paying her rent. She's struggling. She doesn't really have a steady job. And her rent is like $1,100 or something crazy like that, $1,200, and she doesn't have it. Now it's Christmas time, so she takes him a Christmas gift. Now in my mind, I'm looking, okay, these are the little things I do in my head, right? These are the little things I do in my head. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, so you spent money on a Christmas gift for a man that won't even pay for dinner, and you ain't got your rent money? So she gives him the Christmas gift, and he was just like, oh, this is so nice. Oh, this watch is beautiful. It's sweet. It's this, it's that. He didn't have no gift for you. Because that would have been the time when he would have said, oh my goodness, I didn't know we were exchanging gifts tonight. I have your gift here. Or, oh my goodness, I didn't know we were exchanging gifts tonight. Your gift isn't here yet. He didn't even acknowledge the fact that he didn't have a gift for her. Like, even if he wasn't planning on buying her a gift, the polite thing would have been, girl, your gift ain't even come yet. I ordered you something. It's not here. I didn't know we were doing this tonight. My bad. He was just like, oh, this is nice. Yeah. So how you doing? I said, so we ain't even gonna pretend? We're not even gonna pretend like there's a gift under the for your girlfriend that you've been with for 9 months? Child. And so then she proceeded to ask him for this rent money. Now, in my mind, I would have been like, abort mission, abort mission, abort mission. Because he ain't even bothered to bring you a gift. She asked him for the money, and baby, he was just like, yeah, nah, I told you I don't lend money. I don't give money. And he starts talking about his ex-girlfriend. So here's the thing. He loaned $20,000 to his ex-girlfriend, and he's still waiting for that $20,000. And so he said that he would never again put himself in a situation where he had to give somebody he was dating money. He said friends or family. He was like, I just don't do it. I don't loan. I don't give. Now, I understand the loan part, because who the fuck is paying back $20,000? If she had to borrow it, it would take her a long time to pay it back. Now, I know some people just want the effort. Some people just want you to pay. Even if you give me $50 a week, I just want you to show that you have the intention and there's the effort there. So I get that. I understand where Kevin is coming from. But my mama always taught me, never loan what you can't afford to give. And in the situation that you're in, I understand having to put boundaries. I understand having to create boundaries to say, listen, because people will come and people will ask you for money. I get it. Hell, people do it to me and I don't have no money, okay? So I know if if I had a net worth of $30 million, people would feel like, ooh, I'll just ask him. Ooh, I'll just ask him. I get it. But you've been dating this woman for 9 months, and you know that she's taking care of her family. Her father is sick. I know one of the things that Kevin had a problem with was that he said he doesn't feel like he sees any initiative in her. He doesn't feel like she's doing anything. She doesn't have any direction. So I get part of his hesitation. I do. But on the flip side, I'm not gonna have my girlfriend about to get evicted. And he asked a good question. I ain't gonna lie. He said, so if this were 9 months ago before we started dating, who would you ask? What would you do? And I'll be honest with you. He ain't wrong. I understand exactly where he coming from. So I see both sides of the coin, but I do think, Kevin, you doing a bit much, Kevin. I think you're doing a bit much. But listen, who the hell am I? Girl, she got mad, picked up her shoes and her purse, and she didn't even put her shoes on. She stormed up out that house, baby. He said, you just gonna leave? She was like, yeah. She gotta go figure out how she gonna get that rent money, because you ain't gonna give it to her. Last but not least, we got Ginty. Now, we don't have Brian. Brian wasn't here. Ginty said she hasn't heard from Brian since, they met up for coffee, and she made it clear that their relationship was over. She said that, in hindsight, she did feel like Brian enjoyed the lifestyle a bit too much. And that she's been out dating, and, she really hasn't met any winners. It's been really hard dating. She's doing that stuff out on dates, talking about somehow her biological clock is ticking and she's ready for a baby. Listen, that is the quickest way to get a man to hit a skirt about face forward march, because even if they ready to settle down, that ain't what they want to talk about on the first date. The hell? Who must have had that conversation on the first day? But it is Ginty's birthday. It is her 40th birthday. Now, remember last year she had the whole big Cinderella party and Brian was late because he went out and bought her the fake pearls and all that good stuff went down. So she's just thinking, you know, here we are a year later and I'm still single. I still not, you know, I still don't have nobody in my life. And, you know, she was a little depressed and she cried a little bit and her friends took her out. And, you know, guy bought them drinks, but come to find out the guy's name was Ryan instead of Brian, and he was a contractor instead of a construction worker, and she was just like, yeah, that's a little too close for comfort. Nope. But then she said something interesting. Brian didn't even reach out to wish me a happy birthday. You left him at the altar. 1. 2, when you finally did talk to him after 6 months, you told him it was over. Finito. Nothing. Bam. We're done. 0. Don't hold out no hope. Don't pretend. Don't think. Don't nothing. It's nothing going down between us. Now, she did say that she understood why he didn't reach out to her. But the fact that you mentioned it means that there was a part of you that was kind of thinking, hoping, wishing, praying that you was going to hear from Brian. Girl. Y'all be doing the most. Anyway, that's what it is. That's what it was. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.